Yo, what's up guys? It's Lionel the Builder back again with another video, and I just wanted to come up here real quick and give you guys, my juniors out there, give y'all another story of swallowing your pride, another story of doing the hard, doing the unthinkable, and asking for help, and why it is so important and why it is so gosh dang hard to do. And shout out to every single one of y'all juniors and who are learning to code, people trying to break in. You still can. Forget what they say, you know what I mean? We're gonna get into that later. I have other videos covering that topic, right? Not saying it's easy, don't get it twisted, but it's definitely possible, right? And thank you for every single OG who has came and dropped advice in the comments. People have joined the Discord, people are joining the school, and we're going up, we're breaking in. But getting right into the video, man, this is what happened, okay? As y'all know, my project is launching Saturday. My startup, I work for a Navy ship repair project management app, right? We're launching. I'm going to give you guys a tour of that, and I'm writing most of the code for this thing. I am on a team of, there's 3 developers, but they're more of a project manager type of role. I'm writing a lot of code in this sector that I'm in right now, right? And the heat and pressure is on as this moment as we're getting close to crunch time, and I have a meeting where I'm going to give the entire team a tour of the project, right? So this week has been crazy for me. I've been turning off my phone and just locking in and trying to do everything, but I am new, you know what I mean? I've only been working for 6 months now as a working for this company. It is a startup. They went through Techstars in DC. It's like a JP Morgan's Techstars thing. They won, we got funded, they hired developers, and now we're building, right? But before it was just a demo. When I got this thing, I kind of inherited the demo. That's when I joined the team after they got funded. And I realized there was no error logging. There was no, the document structure needed to be completely redone. It's a Firebase backend and a React frontend. Honestly, they pretty much won this thing with just a Canva. You know what I mean? Like, it was more than that, but you know what I'm saying. It was like an MVP, like bare bones MVP. So what I was just now working on this week was the entire multi-factor authentication enrollment part, right? And I've been just wanting to like get it all done, move everything past up until the meeting, right? But what I'm finding, this is my first time being out on my own, having to do the complex, like hard stuff, you know what I mean? Like before, I did little things like create the admin page, the team management page, move buttons around, and you know, little like easy stuff like that, right? You're talking about logic, you're talking about mounting and remounting components and memory leaks and what happens and all that stuff. And I'm finding that, man, ChatGPT is no help with this type of stuff, right? If anything, it will mess you up. You only need to go to ChatGPT when you need like a quick little lookup of how to do something very small and similar. But if you ever try to tell ChatGPT like, hey, I got this, that connects to this, that connects to that, you're already messed up. It's not going to be able to help you. And if anything, it's going to send you for a loop and down a rabbit hole. I'm trying to get this alfalfa to go down. But anyway, so here's what happened, right? So basically, I was setting up the reCAPTCHA, and when you're setting that up, you have to initialize it, and then you have to clean it up, and then you have to destroy it, right? And when I initially set that up, something to do with my state was causing this thing to be trapped in an infinite loop. When you're doing your courses, you always hear about those infinite loops, right? And why it's important for you to clean up. When I was opening my browser, it was doing like 700 messages and requests and then freezing up and crashing. And I needed, that's a very important part of the enrollment process, right? So I finally fixed that, where I should have reached out for help on that sooner, because honestly, trying multiple things, and this is just me being completely honest and vulnerable, this was an all-day thing, right? Something that definitely now will never take that long, and something where if I was more experienced, I would have just blew past it quick, no problem probably. But I got that to finally work, right? To finally initialize, clean up, and then reinitialize for when people go to click the squares to log in, right? So then the next step in this process was, and that's one thing about coding, a lot of people seem to be coming here before they even have built anything, and they're in the courses. I know, I mean, y'all need to cut it out and start building stuff, right? But one thing about what you're gonna learn is that everything is so tricky to the point where everything connects to everything, and every little piece you have to literally, like, you have to build everything like a surgical scientific surgeon, right? Because I needed to draw out and outline the entire enrollment process of what will happen. The user needs to be verified when they create the email. Then we have to send the SMS code to them. But before that, we have to do reCAPTCHA. And then if they're not verified, they have to come back and verify. And they have to, like, it's such a, like, step by step by step by step by step, tiny step by step by step. And that's why being a software engineer, a full stack engineer, is so difficult. It's so hard, man. You have to have extreme attention to detail. And then when I was going to and then, like, just to, well, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I know I'm rambling. But when you're testing this thing out anyway, I learned that for one part I was messed up. It was the cache in the browser that was messing me up. So then I learned that you need to disable the cache when you're testing things, or you need to work on a private browser. But I learned that instead of working on a private browser, just open up this inspect, go to network tab, and just disable the cache at the top, and that will mess you up. So that was part of it. But then also I realized that my Firebase project can only send 10 text messages at a time. So that was the next issue, was that I was at the capacity of how many text messages I was able to send for the day, and I was about to start causing, you know, some billing stuff going on. And so I had to create a test account. But guess what happened when I went to create a test account? It said your organizational policies will not let you create a new service account key. I had to write an entire function just to be a service account, to be able to take my test user and wipe the enrollment after I go to test it out. It has to wipe the enrollment. It had to wipe the verification so I could continue to test the flow. So imagine how frustrating that is, man. When you're trying to, everything is like, God, like everything is like, damn it, I gotta do this. So then I had to go and edit in Google Cloud Platform. I had to go to the organizational policy. I had to log into like the master account, go into this organizational policy and create a rule so that now it can create a service account key. Then I had to create a service account key. Then I had to build a script to wipe everything out as I'm trying to test. And then I found out that in Firebase backend, you can create a test phone number to where you don't have to send verification keys. You go to phone and you tweak that, and then you can, now it could do that, right? I haven't even got to the issue of what I was stuck on. So in the midst of me being stuck on stuff, and the reason why I'm trying to really explain to y'all this is what it's really like, okay? This is what it's really like when you're actually coding, especially as a new guy. Some of y'all are probably watching this like, duh. I already knew that that's what it's like. But I'm trying to tell the juniors out there what it's really going to be like, right? Does this sound fun? No, it's frustrating, but it's fun when you finally break through, when you finally break free. But I'm trying to mentally prepare y'all to know what you're getting into, okay? Because this is not for everybody. You know, we gotta be honest. Is it? You know? So anyway, so I finally got the infinite loop to stop, right? But then the problem, which I realized and I knew was a problem, was that it was destroying the CAPTCHA. And I didn't realize this at first, but I had the entire enrollment process set up, right, to where it was gonna work. And the very final step, when I was sending the verification code that was being texted to my test user's phone number, it was failing. It said Firebase auth fail. And I figured out, or what I was thinking was wrong, was that how I was in the infinite loop of the reCAPTCHA starting and stopping, it was then stopping and destroying before the verification process was complete, before the verification code was finally sent in, right? So I'm like, damn, how the fuck do I fix this? And I was like reading documentation. I watched an entire YouTube video of a guy setting up Firebase authentication. He didn't run into this problem. I was talking to ChatGPT about it, and it was giving me zero help. You know, I even tried like putting in some code that they were giving me, and at that point, it set me back into the loop. So I'm like, man, I got so mad at ChatGPT. I'm like, ChatGPT, you ain't shit, bro. You're not taking nobody's job. So I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking this today. That was the problem, that in the beginning of today, I was about to be, and I could just imagine myself being stuck on this problem, right? And this is me after I shot that video that is doing well, where I talk about why it's so important to take for help. Thank God I made that video, because I finally said, you know what? I'm going to swallow my pride and I'm going to ask for help. So first I text my lead dev and I said, hey man, would you be free? We call these pit stops, where so that we all know it's not going to be a major time commitment where he's going to have to like pair program with me. Like usually we do this remotely with LiveShare, where we hop in there and something that we always say is going to take 20 minutes ends up taking 2 hours. But it's like, no, with these pit stops, you only have 10 minutes to figure it out. So we did that, and he was going for a walk or something, called me back like 10 minutes. He said sure, in 10 minutes. We hopped inside a video call, and he was just like, what's up, man? And I said, okay, so here's the issue. I explained it just like I just explained you guys, and I said what I think is happening. I said my hypothesis that I think it's destroying this thing before sending the text message, sending the verification code. And he said, let's see the error codes first. I think you may be onto something, and I think I know what to do to fix this. But before me just throwing out an idea here, let's take a look at the error codes. So we did a screen share, and I opened up my browser, ran through the process, and we looked at it, and he said, wow, yep. He's like, good news, you're absolutely right. That's what's happening now. How do you think we should go about fixing this? And I was like, shit, how should we fix this? Well, what I was imagining in my mind, I'm like, okay, if this thing is destroying before the SMS, then we really need to take that code for the SMS verification and move it up, right? Before we destroy it. And he was like, yep, that is possible, but then you would run into further problems with, I forget what he said. He said that wouldn't technically work because you shouldn't do it that way or something. And he said something that we can do would be create a portal and something else. But then he said, no, but that's too complicated and, you know, could cause further issues. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a CSS trick and basically just set the display for this MFA enrollment to none, so that it's still there and we don't lose it when the component dismounts. It will still be there, but it won't be seen on the page. So long story short, we tried that. He showed me exactly how to do it, and it fixed the problem in less than 10 minutes. In a pit stop, something that I'm sure would have either taken me the entire day, where I could have ended up spending all of my paid hours on this, been super frustrated. Why? Because you don't want to look like a dumbass, you don't want to ask for help, and you want to like get it on your own. So I'm making this to prepare you guys into because we have a bad reputation as juniors, right? Of, you know, for one, you're being paid to learn, no matter how many courses you've done, no matter how many if you have your degree and you've done courses before, if you don't have working experience, you're being paid to learn. And we have a bad reputation for that, because it's frustrating to the guys. And what we need to learn and what we need to admit is that if we are holding up the team with our egos, then you're messing the entire team up. You're slowing the process down, and all of these other developers have already been in the position that you are in. They've already gone through it. So you always need to swallow your pride when you've done the proper research, right? Don't do that. You can't abuse this thing. It's when you got to be honest when you're like, man, I don't know how to do this. You know what I mean? I don't know the proper way to do this, okay? Because this was a learning opportunity for me in more ways than one. And I felt so good when it worked, because now I get to move on and find the next thing that I'm gonna be trapped on. But so far so good, you know, and I'm super excited and super happy, because I'm feeling like this is gonna be a, you know, success on the first, when I do my presentation. Because it was frustrating, man, and I had already wasted so much time on this. I should have probably asked for help a while ago, but I was not going to do that again today. And so this is a lesson, another lesson again, in re-harpening and re-emphasizing the importance of juniors. Swallow your pride, swallow your ego, because I'm here to help juniors move forward. Do not have to give up. Do not have to you know, get out of this. If you're here, if you're really built for this, we're not giving up on tech. You know, we're gonna fix our mind state with this. We're gonna fix our reputation. We're gonna grow and become stronger and become better and get to the point, the mountaintop where our heroes are one day. You know what I mean? We're building software. We're building important stuff. We are digital builders. There's a whole lore behind that of us being the ones when they said we couldn't do it, when they said AI was going to take our jobs, when they said that the tech market wasn't shit, when they said that like there's no jobs and it's oversaturated and juniors suck and everything sucks, that nah, man, we're not falling for that. We're not falling for that. We're doing this. Companies are still going to be coming out. Jobs, you know, are still there. Honestly, from me being out inside the field, jobs may not be available on LinkedIn and Indeed, but out in the field, in the startup community, I see all sorts of startups starting, you know, and every single project needs developers still. You know, you can't develop without developers and engineers and people with experience and people who can mess with code. You know, granted, I'm looking at this with a very rose-colored glasses and a limited scope of view. I will admit that, you know, so I don't want to be leading people astray. But for the ones who don't want to give up and don't want to do anything else and feel like they really are willing to devote the time and energy and want to be a part of this, it ain't over, man. It's really not over. I'm Lionel the Builder. Thank you guys for watching. Please drop a like, drop a comment, join the school, join the Discord, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.